Welcome, everyone. This is the Tanya Hoffman's fabulous TV show, and I'm super excited. I lost my voice already. That's what happens when you have all these allergies in the air right now. But welcome to the show. We're hoping that our guest star will show up and figure out how to use Blab and get on, and we'll take from there. If you got questions, just type it into the message area. We'd love to help you. I love talking to people about not just being more confident, but how to really become an amazing business owner. And a lot of that is about reaching out. I was just talking to JPR Insurance, give you a plug there across the world. He's over, or she is over in the UK. And, it's about a global market now. Hey, Jim, if you want to come in, jump on a seat. So, we really have so much that we do in life, and a lot of the confidence comes from doing. The more you do something, the easier it gets. Jim's a perfect example. He did his first Blab, and he was like, and now he comes on, and he's like, yeah, I got this. Same for me. The first time I did Blab, I'm like, what do I do? How do I do it? Where do I go? And you're not that confident because it's all new, and everything is like, what? Same thing with speaking. By the way, I'm Tanya Hoffman. I am the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association. And, when you look at confidence, especially as a speaker, because people always get that. They're like, how did you go from this total introvert in 2005 to being on Blab and being, a superstar, whatever. And it all comes down to developing that confidence by doing. The more you do, the more you can get things done, right? You can move yourself in progression. You can kind of supercharge what you're wanting to do because you know what to do. And people are always like, well, how do you get that way? And it is by doing. There's a lot of people want shortcuts. They want the magic pill. Can I take a magic pill and poof, there I am. I'm a fabulous speaker now. And it doesn't really work that way. You've got to go out there and you've got to push yourself to do something you've never done before. I have the same goal every year. People are like, well, that's a lousy goal. But it's like, you can't. Okay, so my goal every year is to look back at myself the year before and not recognize myself. And in order to not recognize myself, I have got to do things that scare me, that I'm not confident in doing, right? Which means I'm scared. That the fear almost is overwhelming to the point where if I don't do it, it will keep me from doing it. And a lot of it is it's just head trash. It's just stuff in your head that keeps you from doing things, because in reality, 99% of the stuff that I was scared to do turns out to be no big deal. And it's hard to understand that. It's hard to kind of grasp that concept, because when you're looking at the whole reality of, just the progression of building your confidence up, it's a lot of knocking down. It's a lot of, I didn't get it right. It's a lot of, I failed at that. And that's usually where people stop. I guess I've learned to fail. You have to learn to be okay with yourself and that you're not perfect. Nobody can be perfect. I've met people that looked pretty perfect and they're not perfect either. And they're usually the first people to tell you that they're not perfect. But you've got to push yourself beyond that. And you've got to try something new. Because what happens, and this happens to me all the time, so I can talk from reality, is that I get comfortable. So as soon as I start feeling like everything is just kind of, because it's just kind of blah, 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 there's nothing really new going on. I have got to get myself uncomfortable, because that's how you push yourself and that's how you grow. That's how you take big risk and you take big opportunities. And that's how you move faster. When you reach out to people, I just reach out to people when I want to. Even for this show, I reached out to Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and some others, right? And when I start looking at they're running for the U.S. presidency, why not? They need marketing. And the last thing they can do is say no, So what did I decide to do public speaking? It was a shock to me because I've been an entrepreneur my whole life since I was 25. I had 2 retail stores in Houston, and then I closed those down in 99 and moved to the Austin area and started wholesaling, and then I started a business networking group organization. When I was starting the business networking group organization, I had never heard of networking before. So I had kind of just launched a marketing platform, but I was like cold calling. And then someone told me about networking and going to groups and networking groups and chambers of commerce and conferences. I had never heard of these things. It was a really big shock. So I started going into these and I saw people standing up and speaking, and I saw the reaction. Now, being an introvert, because you saw how introverted I was, I was like, don't talk to me. It was really very difficult. But I saw the reaction. I saw this lady named Susan. She walked into the room and people jumped up and their eyes exploded and they're like, oh, giving her a hug and here's a referral, and people loved her. And I think there was a part of me that always wanted that. I've always wanted to feel connected with other people and that people would be excited to see me instead of just walking and kind of slugging in and kind of hiding. I think I was just done with hiding. When you get to that kind of point, you're just kind of, all right, I've got to move on with my life. And I had kind of a victim mentality. I've had pretty horrific things happen in my life. I've gone through cancer. I was robbed and tied up when I was 6 months pregnant. And those are the nice things. So I totally get why I was that way. I totally understand the introvertness that happened. But at some point, I knew I had to get out of my own way. So the first time, it was in 2005 when I did my very first speaking, and it was in front of 5 lovely ladies. It was this itty bitty little women's group that I was a part of, and they all loved me. And I got to stand up in front of 5 lovely ladies and shake and sweat, and it was awful. It was just, nightmare. But I got the bug because you see people, they're like, oh yeah, that's a good point. You see the reaction. You see, so say if you're talking about insurance, you see that people get it, and you can see that you could change somebody's life instantaneously. And then as I started doing it more and forcing myself to go out and speak and shake and tremble and all the things that you have to get over, the more you do it, pretty soon I remember that incredible day I walked in and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not shaking anymore. This is amazing. And that's when everything started to really explode. It's kind of getting past your fears. And one of the biggest things for speakers, people who are just starting to speak and they're afraid of it, right? The fear of speaking is just tremendous because obviously I was there. One of the things I started realizing is that nobody cares if you got something green in your teeth, what your nose looks like, what your teeth looks like, what your hair really looks like. They want you to be professional looking. They want to say, wow, she looks nice, but they don't really care like we think they care. And so when they're in the audience, they're looking at you. Are you perceived as being confident? Because the more confident you come across, even when you just shake somebody's hand, the more confident you come across, the easier it is to sell. Here, JPR, you have to type in your name because I hate calling you JPR, unless that's your name. You've been in insurance for 20 years. Obviously you're doing something right and people love you. So now it's about building a community around you. And speaking really kind of emphasize that. Doing blabs, doing radio shows. You know, we have Blog Talk Radio, for goodness sakes, nowadays. It's massive. Internet TV, YouTube. You know, you got all these different platforms. And what's so crazy is they're free. Yeah, they take time, but realistically, how much time? And I can't believe, like Blab, I switched everything. Oh, Justin, yay. I switched everything over to Blab. So I went from AM radio, so it was aired in, let's see, Austin, San Antonio, and Dallas. And then I was like, okay, that's not reaching enough people. So I switched to FM radio. Then I switched to Blog Talk, which had 30 million listeners. And I did that for about a year. And I mean, 30 million listeners, right? And I switched off of that to YouTube, and people thought I was crazy going from 30 million listeners to 0 on YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, because immediately I got closed business. And that's what's so brilliant about video. Because I kept hearing it. People are like, you got to do video. You got to do video. You do so much, you close so much more business. And I'm like, you know, but you got to get used to it. The first time I did a video, it was like, hello, I'm Tanya Hoffman. You know, it was awful. And so you start to start building this community. And then when I found out about Blab, the second time I was on a Blab show, I got closed business. I'm like switching because it connects straight to YouTube. It's brilliant. And now here I am teaching a class on how to do Blab and how to post it up on YouTube and how to post it up on your website and everything, right? Next Monday. So, you know, you start seeing how can you really help people, and connecting them to that point when you're speaking and they visually see you, it's incredible. And when they don't see you, like I do a virtual summit every month with the Public Speakers Association. So people are on the phone. So it makes it really easy, especially if they have internet connection issues and things like that. They could just jump on the phone, do 25-minute straight presentation with a lead generator at the end. So whenever you're not visual, and even when you're visual, you figure out, how do you attract people to you? How do you get people to follow you? How do you get them into your newsletter or social media so that you can continue the conversation? And so that is really one of the massive ways to use speaking in general. Now, when I go to, I'll show you an example. When I go to events, so like this one, I do these little contest cards. So if I'm physically someplace talking, right, then I have them fill out this card and they circle what they're interested in. So I know to contact Kelly because she wants me to come and speak. She wants to be a speaker. She wants everything. And that's the kind of person that I would want to super connect with quickly. So a lot of it is about taking people offline. So I was just on someone else's Blab just a little bit ago, and there was a lady on just the message area. And she's like, Tanya, I really want to get connected to you. So I gave her my email address. She sent me an email. We always responded. We already set up a time to chat. So it's about getting people from the platform you're using to an opportunity to connect and do business with, or just connect and refer, someone to. Because not all of it comes back directly to you. They may not all need insurance in England. But say, I want to go do an event in England, that might be a good connection. Or people like, I know people in England, so then there's a connection to me, to the people I know. So a lot of it is about building the relationships that will explode your business. I love connecting with some of the top influencers in the world. I even have a whole award at my next conference in June on Collaborator of the Year. What's a collaborator? Someone who connects, someone who helps others, someone that gets the relationship building part. So I was hoping that Joey would make it on, but she didn't obviously get the memo. But, this is good. She's doing an incredible 1,000 women interview on confidence. and what it means to be a confident woman. It was very interesting. I love when I see people, kind of trying to do different things like that. Usually they don't have the reach, but then it doesn't matter if you don't have the reach because you find people like me who does, right? So I sent her a gazillion people that she can now, get interviewed on her program. So you help others achieve their goals and amazing things happen. But to build, confidence in your business and kind of beyond, because I see a lot of people, again, they get comfortable. Here's Justin's been an insurance guy for 20 years. You're probably pretty comfortable in a lot of it. So my whole thing when I have people who hire me is how do I help them get uncomfortable? Because then it helps them move in some direction. It could be about expanding your business that you already have. It could be about creating a sub-business, right? So a lot of people look at speaking as a sub-business. It's great to build the business you have, but then you could also create lots of other side incomes from it. For example, it is a big no-no. And a lot of times people often, push what's uncomfortable for them onto somebody else. So you see that a lot in sales. People have a sales staff and they have their salespeople go and sell because they're uncomfortable with it, which is a good strategy, is to find someone to do the things that you're uncomfortable with. But what I'd like to challenge you is to do it anyways. Start trying to push yourself into it. You're going to connect with different people than your partner will. If you've got someone that's doing the speaking for your business, there's going to be some disconnect and that you're missing opportunities. Plus, there's huge opportunities for yourself. So if you're not getting in front of people, say even on Blab or something like that, you're missing an opportunity to really expand and grow and create a lot of momentum for yourself. I see that a lot with people that are doing career advancement. They've got teams and they're helping their team and they're giving their team credit, and then they wonder why they never get to advance, because you have to focus on yourself too. It's just one of those things. And we find, people usually that are really good over the phone and real confident over the phone usually have problems in front visually. I get that a lot with people who do radio versus video. They're very comfortable people hearing them, but not so comfortable with people seeing them. Hey, Tim, you want to come into the show? And I had Miss Joey coming on, but she's obviously he had to go. I don't know where he went. So if you don't know Tim, he's amazing, by the way. And let's see if this was Miss Joey, because I was like, don't know what happened to her. And nope, that's not her. So anyways, well, too bad. It would have been fun to have her on today. But that's kind of, what I'd like to give y'all. But if you'd like to connect, we've got, I've got a contest that runs. Let me put it here in the chat window. It's Tanya Hoffman, and Tanya is always with an O, and Hoffman is spelled wrong because my husband's family doesn't know how to spell it right. It's one F and two N's. .com, and then there's a contest on there, so you can click on there and it's just win, W-I-N, or you can go just to TanyaHoffman.com and it's right there. So I do a contest at the first of the month, every month. No matter when you're listening to this, you can watch it and or click on there and submit and enter the contest. Is for an hour coaching session with me, which is $1,000 value, so it's nice. We can go over anything you want to go over. And then if you're wanting me to come in and speak at any of your events or your Blab or whatever, I'd love to do that and kind of get that going for you. And I know Blab does not like when there's not a second person in the window, so they obviously have not been promoting the show. But that's okay, a lot of times people have a hard time adjusting to new platforms, so you totally get it. So I'm here usually at 10 a.m. Central Time every single day, Monday through Friday. So I hope to see you tomorrow. We have an incredible guest, Miss Katrina Sawa, on for Wednesday. Raven Davis is on Thursday, who's the Raven Maven or something. She does a lot of interviews and things like that. And the incredible Debbie Allen is on Friday. These are all speakers at my upcoming conference, publicspeakersconference.com. Remember, we have nominations open for Collaborator of the Year. We have local, national, international. So make sure you apply. You can put it on your bios and say, I've been nominated for. And guess what? They don't mind if you go and actually whatever, use, if you're nominating yourself. I was like, what am I trying to say? So go ahead and nominate yourself. We also have video posts that you can post up there and enter in for a contest. So we got like the best business tip, the best personal development tip, best personal stories. We've got lots of different categories. So post an under 5-minute video and we'll start promoting it and getting it up there also. And hopefully we see every one of you at the publicspeakersconference.com is the website. It's in Palm Springs, California, June 26th through the 29th. And we're going to have a blast. So we have people coming all over the world, and it's just a great time to get connected to people. So thank you, Justin, for being on today. And thank you, everybody who's listening on the recording. And we will see you next time.